Welcome to Wolves After Dark, everybody. I forgot we went live for some reason, and I wasn't ready to talk. If you are new here and watching the VOD or live, feel free to subscribe. We got the playoffs coming up, or at least the play-in. So we've got some stuff to look forward to. But the Timberwolves win, score a franchise high 151 points against the Spurs today, and put themselves in position to win tomorrow and be in the 8th spot at least going into the play-in. So some good news. Feels good and ready to have some meaningful. We've had meaningful basketball, but this is truly meaningful. Ant has talked about the New Orleans game weeks ago. He talked about it.
Yeah, totally.
After like a bad loss, I can't remember what game it was, but he was like, what did he say? He for one, it seemed like he didn't really understand the schedule or know the schedule or how many games they still had left. But he was like, I know we have one against the Pelicans, right? So clearly the Pelicans are top of mind for the locker room, or at least Ant, who basically is the locker room. So tomorrow's a big day. How are you feeling going into tomorrow?
Elastic, if that makes any sense. I'm just like, it doesn't really matter to me. I feel like I have gone through this season enough that I am now out of emotion. I feel like coming into the postseason last year, I was so excited, but I was just happy that we got there. And I feel like I am a little disappointed in how we ended up, but we're still at a point where it matters, and that's really exciting. But this game is a game that we were supposed to win by a lot, by the 15.5 like set line, and we did that tonight. And I feel like that's a good sign of just beating a team that you're supposed to beat, playing beyond the level of competition and just how you're supposed to play. It was fun to see some other people get some time there too, and the winning culture starts now. Like, no matter what happened prior, the week was an awful week for us, leading up to this game. Like, this is where the motivation time switches, like winning time switches. Like, everyone needs to buy into whatever system is going on, whatever the coaches have planned for us, because it's not any individual's time to shine. It's the team's. Like, this is what that's what I'm kind of trying to say, is like, it's the team now that is bigger and beyond whatever solo expectations were expected of yourself.
Yeah, and I think we saw a little bit of that tonight. We there were even moments tonight, like Towns didn't play. It seemed like the game plan coming out was like Ant is the focal point, as it should be, and then everybody else just fits around Ant. That's what it kind of felt like tonight, and it just worked. It felt like Ant came out super aggressive out the gate. I think, what do you have, like 16, 18 points after the first half or something like that, which is awesome. And he played really well, and then Carl stayed in quite a while at the end of the game when we were up by a bit, and he was able to get some more points. But before that, he still had like 16, 18, and that's weird for Carl, because Carl, as we've talked about many times before, he's used to being like the one, and he still kind of, I think there's a major part of Towns that still believes that he is the one. That's a different conversation for a different day, but tonight it just worked. He was able to, he hit like a spot up three. I wish he would do that 20 times a game. And Ant was aggressive. Ant got some foul calls, but mainly just was super aggressive and able to get to the basket. Got some Jaden defense, got some Jaden threes. We just had some good performances pretty much all around. We had a putback dunk that was like insane. It was just a good night. We got to draw a charge on Gorgie, and and no, it was a good night. But honestly, today was less important. This was a must-win game. I mean, this was it. Like, you're playing against a team that is in the top 3 of the lottery, going into the lottery whenever that happens. And they honestly, I think they can't go up or down in the or maybe I'm wrong. They may have been able to get worse. But I think that they're pretty close to being set in like the 3rd spot for like draft things. Which actually I think the top 3, they're all the same odds for getting the first pick. So,
Yeah.
so they had nothing to really play for, and I think they could have won tonight without any penalty against that.
Mm.
Um, so I got a little nervous initially, and then they did come out and they were scoring a bit in the beginning. Some guy that I have no idea, I've never heard of him before, some
The
name that I've never
center,
heard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's just going
Mamu.
off. Yeah, Mamu, that's what it was. Um, just insane. I was, like, raging because 'cause I'm like, "This only happens against us.
Yeah.
This only happens against the Timberwolves." But no, we were able to win, and, we look forward to tomorrow. So, I guess, well, I guess we could try to do a quick tier list, but I mainly wanna talk about tomorrow, and what can happen after tomorrow, and what we should be looking forward to, what me and Ashwin want to happen, what we think will happen, all that. So maybe we'll do a quick tier list. I'll pull up some stats here.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it's cool. As we bring up the tier list and the stats, the main thing that looks like is the pecking order. Like you said, it's Ant's team, and everyone has to fall in line. That's the team like dynamic for the season moving
mhm,
forward. Has to be. There can't be any sort of emotion about like what should be happening. We don't have Nas anymore, so like there is a even a pecking order off the bench in terms of who should probably be scoring, and that should be as evident from tonight. I think
mhm,
that is determined. It is probably Torian Prince for the most part. There's going to be a lot of Kyle Anderson, of course, because that's like
yep,
our identity kind of formed through the
mhm,
season. But I think the Torian Prince dynamic has to change from what it was last week and beyond, in like a couple of weeks prior to
yeah,
like we're in the New York Knicks game where he was popping off and he was so
yes,
assertive for himself because we don't have that other player off the bench. And it
mhm,
was nice to see Nikhil Alexander Walker as well kind of perform. But I'm
yep,
just like saying like that was kind of determined tonight. And maybe we equaled the Spurs in the paint, and maybe our bench points are about the same. We know this now. Moving forward, like it's the starting five is going to produce like 80% of our points, 85% of the points.
yeah,
And
yeah,
we don't have that luxury anymore. We don't have that Nasrid anymore.
that's true.
Um, and I just think that some of our strengths are now we can run a little bit, and now we can, like really grind the paint and see what happens. And well, um, yeah, we had a
Well,
33-point lead against the Spurs tonight. That was awesome. Getting
yeah,
this kind of production is really good for the psyche. But like,
oh, yeah, yep, especially
this
going
was not a normal game.
and we play tomorrow. So, like, this is a
Yeah,
back-to-back, so this is good vibes going into a game tomorrow.
yeah,
You got to rest. I mean, nobody really played, like, that many minutes. I don't think we had anybody on the team play more than 30 minutes. Yeah, more than 28 minutes. So, that's good, and I think you got some confidence in some people that weren't shooting well, like Nah, a little bit like TP, like you were saying. So, like, there's a lot of good that can come from this. Like you said, though, also this is the Spurs. We're not talking about the Pelicans. But yeah, this is good vibes. I'm just over here laughing because I'm looking at the the field goal percentages for the team. They shot 55% from the field, 56 of 101, and then 24 of 43 from three.
we shot 43 threes. I remember the years where we were like, "Holy crap, Golden State, stop! This is like insane. This is so
Yeah.
stupid." Or
Or the Rockets, who would be
the
we were like, "Wow,
Rockets.
they shot
Yeah,
38 threes in a
that's
game."
right. That's
And
right.
it's like, we just casually shot 43,
Yeah.
and nobody's gonna talk about it because that's where the league is now. It's, like, crazy, but yeah, well, I think we'll probably do, like, 7 players tonight, 7 or 8 players. There's really, like, it's mainly the starters, TP, Nah, and I guess we could talk about Baby Mac, who had, like, a lot of assists. He had 9 assists tonight.
That's
Baby
crazy.
Mac, 5 he played 20 minutes too. I didn't feel like that. That's kinda crazy. He played 20 minutes, had 5 points, 2 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, a block, and I'm pretty sure he was fouled hard and may have bounced his head off the ground when he hit the ground. It looked
God,
insane when it happened. I maybe I just saw it or something, but it seemed bad and at the time. But no, overall, I mean, lately I've been really down on Baby Mac. Um, but I think for today, maybe an expected. I mean, that's a lot of assists, but like I didn't feel that big of a contribution to today's game. So, and I don't really think there's really much to say about it. it was a blowout win. This is why the tier list kind of becomes pointless on nights like this. But
well, I was going to say like almost an A because like this production is like now new to him because
that's true.
he's been so bad for us. So yeah,
It's
expected is fine too.
I still
I
have
also don't really want him on the rotation.
True. Yes, very true. Also, this is totally off topic, but the Memphis Grizzlies waived. Who is it? Kennedy Chandler? Is that how you say it? Is Chandler
Wouldn't
Kennedy?
know.
Well, either way, they just drafted him, but they had to drop him because Steven Adams is going to be out for the playoffs. So they picked up. They converted the two-way contract of Kenny Lofton Jr. I don't know why I'm talking about Memphis, but I want Kennedy.
Kenny Lofton. Oh, you do? Oh, cool.
Yeah, I like him, and he played well for them this year, which is why it's super surprising that they dropped him.
Oh wow.
But anyways, that's not going to happen.
Look at you evolving as a Wolves fan, paying attention to other teams now.
Just to have my notifications on for Shams. That's all. Next up, let's do Torian. Played 25 minutes. He had 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 4-9 shooting, 3 of 5 from 3. That's what you want from Taurean Prince. Of course, tonight's a blowout. It's hard to judge these things on a night like tonight. But that is the exact production you want. And what TP did for us tonight was valuable. And I don't know. I guess I'm kind of leaning towards B. I mean, this is like I don't expect this necessarily. But this was a little bit better than I expected, but also pretty close into what I want from him.
Yeah, this is the new normal for us with him. I think it was awesome that he went like perfect from 3 in the first half and he got like 12 points or whatever it was. And so maybe his offense wasn't as needed, or he, didn't need to see the ball go hoop. But like in the first half, he was needed just to get some separation. All we needed was to play like the 90s Bulls and get like enough separation where we didn't need to play the Stars in the fourth quarter, and we got there, but we didn't do that until the third quarter. So
yeah, cool. Well, I'll give him a B unless anybody has any outrageous disagreements with me. Cool. And then the last bench player that we'll talk about has to be, who is it? Oh, well, there's Kyle Anderson too.
We don't have to talk about him. That was just a standard expected game.
That's true. And so I guess, yeah, we'll just put Kyle's expected. And then 16 minutes, 16 points, had that nice putback dunk, a steal, played some decent defense. He shot 6 of 8 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3. Honestly, that's maybe like an A.
That's an A. That's an A tier.
That's crazy.
The most important thing is that he shot with confidence, and he wasn't confident coming into this kind of game. I think he's been like 2 or 3 for like 15 or whatever it was, and that sucks. And so we lost all that production from Nas, and we have to have something from our bench. And if it's going to be TP and Na doing it together, hell yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. Cool. Well, on to the starters. We'll do Mike Conley first. Mike Conley. 24 minutes, 20 points, 5 assists. He shot 6 of 9 from the field. Nice. 5 of 7 from 3. When he makes threes, I feel like he's never going to miss again. And then when he misses one, I feel like he's never going to make one again.
Oh, yeah.
It is a very weird roller coaster ride with his 3-point shot. But in general, I do like it. And it's very satisfying to watch. And it's just huge if he can start making threes like that all the time. 4 or 5 is pretty good. Or did I say 4 or 5? Did I read that right? 5 or 7?
It's 5 or 7.
I mean, that's pretty crazy. For a grade, I'm struggling. I kind of want to give him a B plus or an A.
That's what I was going to go.
Because it's kind of in between. And I know when we say we're in between, we'll just go up. But I think it's more B.
Not an A.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was just a solid game for Mike. Still want to see more lobs, which we don't have as much. But hey, maybe they're saving it for the playoffs.
Maybe it's just because our offense is too much on the perimeter.
Yeah,
that the lobs are harder to get. And things that we get to learn in this offseason moving forward is like how to integrate Ruby just a little bit more, and how to make the offense feel like a San Antonio's offense, where we're just like passing, zipping the ball, because that's ultimately, I think, what our coaching staff wants. What I really like the most out of this whole season is the fact that we traded D'Lo for Conley. It feels like Conley is this like horse whisperer. Like he gets everyone kind of calm and steady. And he's not an erratic player. He'll never turn it over intentionally. He won't make wild plays, and we need to have all that contained. And we kind of do now. It's like down to one person, right? So having him shoot also is a plus, a boon, because when he plays well, and by well I mean like offensive production, the team feels like it's too hard to guard, because if you are doubling on any one player, Conley will make those threes, and he has the confidence to make those threes. Because usually the person who's getting doubled off of is Conley.
Yep.
No, and what's up, T Sweezy?
Oh, sorry, I have the comments blocked. Hey. Cool. Next, let's do Rudy. 10 minutes, or not 10 minutes, 10 points, 13 rebounds, five assists. Whoa. 4 blocks. Man, I don't even remember those. Was I watching this game?
Well, I sure was, and I saw every single one of them.
So 4 blocks and a steal. Only had 5 shot attempts, as it should be. No more letting Rudy cook. 2 of 5 from free throws, but I mean, this was just a very standard Rudy game. You don't really need a crazy point production when you have Ant going crazy, you have TP going crazy, you have all these people going crazy.
Yeah.
So this is, I think this is probably just expected. This is pretty close to what we expect out of Gobert.
This is 100% expected from the trade. Like, this is what I wanted from the trade. This level of production, the blanching, not cooking, not sauteing, just blanching. Just poaching an egg, you know what I mean? And like, he gets that many touches, but he feels involved, and like, he gets his double-double. And the thing that I think he's learned a little bit over the course of this season is how to distribute the ball when he's about to go in. Like, he's running into the paint and he gets the ball out quick, because now the league has changed where there's smaller players in the paint, and there's players who can't wait to get a charge on you, and so he has to play like he has a stick of dynamite in his hand, so he has to pass it. And so the 5 assists are a good indicator of him like kind of adapting. So.
And one thing that also happened that was a little disappointing was that there are moments now where we are not giving the ball to Rudy when he's wide open under the basket. I'm not saying this happens frequently, but too many times we have like Ant out on the perimeter or Cat out on the perimeter, and we're kind of playing like 2-man game out there when Rudy's just standing in the paint available to dunk it, and that happened like at least twice tonight. That was kind of frustrating. And then there was one specific one now where Ant was like out on the 3-point line. He had the ball batted away as he was just trying to do some like dribbling moves to get past somebody. And then he had to chuck up a 3, which miraculously hit the rim. But like Rudy was just there the whole time, just ready for it. Which was like, we just, we have to be able to hit him in those situations. But we just missed him. But anyways, I agree. I think he's a C, or expected, whatever.
Yeah, this is growing pains. This is game like 7 of this lineup. You know what I mean? Like, ultimately. And I think Ant has always had this hard time with passing with confidence. I think there are moments where he's really good at it, but it's like close proximity where he's trying to force the ball to go somewhere. I think he struggles. Like, some of his passes are with his offhand, and he kind of like lofts it over. And he's not good at that either. So an off season of development on that end is going to be huge. So
I know that's the thing. And I think you and I are similar space where, like, I know we've talked about this in the Discord, by the way, shout out our Discord. But it's like, we're just kind of in next season mode. This season we came in very optimistic. We both thought that we were going to be top 4 in the West. At least we don't know how far we were going to go in the playoffs, but we thought, at least for regular season purposes, that we were going to be way up there in wins. And to be fair, if we would have won more of the games at the beginning of the season where we played like terrible teams like the Spurs, we'd be there. Like, if we win, I don't remember. There was some stat on Twitter the other night that was like, oh, if the Timberwolves would have like gone like this, like, I don't know, won like 5 more games in the beginning of the season, or even 3 or something like that, you are there. You're in the 4 seed. So like, that's annoying. But either way, you also didn't expect like Sacramento to be 3rd or Dallas to be 11th and
11th, yeah.
out of the play-in. Like, that's crazy.
That's true. There's so many variables, and like, yeah, that stat I think that I remember you talking about is like we ended up 6-10 against these teams, the bottom 5 teams in
Yeah,
the West.
yeah, yeah.
And if we just went like 9-8, like, isn't that like super expected for the worst teams in the league to lose? Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's
But
okay. Coming to terms with that. Like, this is our team.
mhm,
I don't know who's going to show up tomorrow. I have no idea.
yep.
I don't know what type of team we are, and that is unfortunate. But I think it's also going to be exciting to see when the gun is to your head. Who are
Mhm.
you? Like, win or go home. What are you? Like, what are we capable of?
I think
Yeah,
it's Ant. I think we go Ant,
we yeah.
and then like similar how we started tonight's game, we have Ant be aggressive, and we just have to ride him for the game because that's what we did in the playoffs last year. We went from in the regular season, it was kind of a mixture between like some D'Lo nights, some Towns nights, some Ant nights, but it was never really like one clear cut person last year. And then the plan happened, and it was like, oh, okay, this is definitely Ant and D'Lo. And then the playoffs kept happening, and it was like, oh, this is mainly just Ant. Um, and then it just, obviously it worked pretty well for us. I mean, I think we did better than most would have expected us to do, but I think we're
Yeah.
going to see a heavy dosage of Ant tomorrow. And then in the play-in or playoffs, I think we can expect to see the basketball that we all really want to see here. So,
Yeah, totally, right on. And there's so many like postseason, like post-mortem, like let's talk about this team and let's talk about this season. But like we saw a lot of growth from some other players that we weren't expecting. And man, like Jaden McDaniels could be this X factor that we had not anticipated. Like we were looking at the fourth or fifth option and he's like potentially a second option for this team.
yeah.
I just want to be very straightforward and say, like, the types of shots that he's able to get with the type of content he gets, it's
Mhm.
kind of remarkable. It doesn't make sense with him on offense. Like, he looks like Corey Brewer on offense at times, but like the types of offense he produces for
Yeah.
this team is so needed, and it's actually incredible. And yeah, he made his threes tonight, but like the fact that he's getting better on the dribble, is
Yeah.
going to be another dynamic that teams are not able to be prepared for, I think. Oh my
Well,
God, Godfrey.
speaking of Cat's horoscope,
Oh, was that something?
Anthony Towns played 28 minutes, had 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists, triple double watch. Also had 2 blocks. One that I was certain, and I think he was certain that was going to be called a foul, and he just kind of stood there and acted like
The
it was okay.
refs phoned it in, man. Like,
They
the
did in
refs
the
phoned
end of
it
the
in.
game for sure. Oh my gosh. But Towns was a plus 30 tonight. I mean, that doesn't matter on a night like tonight. But 10 and 19, only 2 of 6 from 3. I'm telling you, Towns has to be the leader in 3-point shots on your team every single night if you have him
Yeah.
on the court.
Yes.
Like, he just has to be.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's missing. He is. I'm not saying he's the greatest big man shooter of all time, but he is a great big man shooter of all time. Like, he is in that conversation. So how is he only taking 3? He's a 3-point champion. How is he only, or 6, excuse me. I don't know why I said 3. I don't know. How is he only taking 6 shots like that when he played the most minutes in the game? Um, I'm not saying that he was misused tonight necessarily, because like I'm okay with this, like this night. Obviously, we won, and he didn't feel like he got in the way too much. So that was good. We didn't have any crazy like fouling or crazy. I mean, we did have some behind the back passes, but they were okay. Um, so yeah, this is like fine. Like, but I just want more 3-point shots. And then if he gets more 3-point shots and makes more 3-point shots, then he can start to do a little bit more driving. But he's really focused on the driving right now, which is like, we just don't need that. We have Ant to do that. We have other people that can do that.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you do that, but just save that for after you've made the defense go out to you on the
Commit
three.
to you. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I
So
love that. 6 out of 43. Like 43 threes is crazy. But
mhm.
he only took 6 of them, which means like that's like 10 to 12%. Like,
Yeah.
no, we want you to be taking the bulk of 3-point shots.
Yeah,
So
we think you take like a quarter of our 3-point shots. Like,
yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah. I would rather
But
have him take all the threes than him taking none of the threes.
exactly. Yep. I'd rather him get me to the point where I'm telling him to stop taking threes, which is not going to happen.
This is an
But
above
anyway,
average game for him.
yeah, this was above
Not an
average.
A level game, but I
Yeah.
definitely think a B. And I think the assists are ultimately what we're going to get from him as
Yeah.
like a ceiling of what Kyle Anderson could have been is
Yeah.
Cat, right?
Yep.
Like Cat's passing can be where Kyle can, where Cat can learn from Kyle and vice versa, because they're going to want to play similar roles for this offense to have some sort of fluidity. But
Yep.
yeah, Cat shooting the threes is the dynamic we need on this team moving forward for the rest of the time that he's on this team. If
Mhm.
Cat is not shooting threes, like timeout, like
Yeah.
put him in the cage because he's the best at it.
Yeah, I agree. I put him in B. I think that makes sense for him tonight. Although I guess you could maybe argue, yeah, I don't know, whatever, it's B.
Well, yeah.
On to Anthony Edwards. Um, by the way, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. We do this after every game. We're definitely going to be doing it after every play-in, playoff, and finals game. Of course, we're going to be doing all the finals this year when the Timberwolves are there.
Yeah,
Um,
dude, definitely, definitely.
but um, but Anthony Edwards, 20, oh my gosh, 24 minutes, 33 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 13 of 25 shooting, 4 of 9 from 3. Only got to the line 4 times or got 4 free throws. 0 turnovers and only 1 foul. And the foul was kind of like, I remember it actually. It wasn't that crazy. It was
It wasn't
very
anything.
like nothing.
Yeah.
But no, Ant had a great game. Now, I will say, if you are new here and you haven't seen the tier list before, A1 means an unforgettably good game. So, like, this means like Karl Anthony Towns' 60-point game against the Spurs, Ant's like what 49-point game or whatever he had against somebody. I don't remember. Maybe that was also the Spurs. I don't remember. So that's an A1 game. Today, it was not an A1 game. It was a great game. Honestly, this is like a fantastic game from Anthony Edwards. But we just didn't have that, like, I don't know, like really huge, like, I mean, we're playing the Spurs, and like if we're gonna make an A1 game out of playing the Spurs, who are a team that are in the top 3 of getting the Wemby sweepstakes, like we are nowhere. This, like, we're talking 60-point game. That's what we're talking for A1. So I think, anyways, this is a long-winded way of saying I think he's an A tonight.
Definitely 8 assists, 0 turnovers. That's the stat I'm looking at right now.
That's great.
Taking 9 threes for sure, and getting into 20-point. You got like the 20 points in halftime,
Yeah.
like leading the way, telling the rest of the team,
Mhm.
ride me, right? Like this is this fall in line almost, and I think every team needs a bit of an alpha dog, and we're the Timberwolves. We need an alpha dog, and I think um, when he's playing well, when he has the energy, when he plays with emotion, I think,
Yeah.
not being emotional, but when he's playing with emotion, like, dude, this team falls in line so beautifully.
Mhm.
And of course, when shots go in, it's like really nice to see. But yeah, he can cook from anywhere, and he's our identity. And if he's priority 1, I think Cat's game opens up a lot. So I want that to be known, that if Cat has the ball and it's Cat's like ISO shit, the game slows down. The defenses have a chance to catch up, and whatever Cat's doing, doesn't produce what Ant can do on a possession basis. And so if Cat can spread the floor and stay spread and do simple things, and or be in the post and do simple post up shots, because his post game is amazing, but his shot put stuff is amazing, is the best. If he can either do that or shoot threes, it really keeps the defenses like having to guess when it's Ant's turn.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. As you were talking, I realized that I totally skipped Jaden McDaniels.
I know. I thought maybe that's why you wanted to keep him till last, but
I did not necessarily, but he had a great game too. 16 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Again, you can never grade Jaden off of his numbers. 6 of 8 from the floor, 4 or 5 from 3. That's insane. And only 3 personal fouls. Honestly, this is maybe an A.
Look at that. Look at a little square. That's a little square.
I know this is honestly a little bit just because I wanted to have the square, but I do think that this was a good game for him. Played well defensively. They were actually making some tough shots on him early in the game, which was, again, another point of rage for me early in the game where I was just like, this has to stop. How does this only happen to the Timberwolves where everybody just makes their tough shots? It doesn't make any sense. But
Sure.
I have plenty of thoughts on this, but I'll share that in the all of our off-season content that we're going to do. Make sure you subscribe.
Dude, I can't wait, man. It's going to be so lit.
We're going to be too busy. But yeah, there's the tier list. Now, before we move on, what I was thinking we could maybe do is, or before we end, I should say, we should go. Now, this website has a crazy amount of ads. So actually, I'm not even gonna do it. The ads take up the full screen, so we'll just talk about it. Anyways, they're ridiculous. I was going to do the playoff predictor and just go through the games and show the scenarios, but one, the website's laid out terribly. But all you need to know is tomorrow the Wolves play again in the afternoon. I hate it. But yes, by the way, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments because we're kind of near the end. But tomorrow, if the Timberwolves win, no matter what happens in any other game, they are the 8th seed. Doesn't matter. The Lakers could win. The Clippers don't matter anymore. The Warriors don't matter anymore. The Suns don't matter anymore. All these teams don't matter anymore. So Oklahoma doesn't matter. Like, nobody matters. If the Timberwolves win, we are the 8th seed, and we guarantee ourselves at least a backup game and a backup play-in game. If the Lakers lose, and we win against the Pelicans, we are the 7th seed. I don't know who we would host in that situation. We would. It probably is.
I think it's guaranteed it's the Lakers.
Is it the Lakers? Yeah, it's got to be the Lakers. So then we would play the Lakers at Target Center. I think I hate that more than playing at Crypto.com. There are so many Lakers fans in Minnesota. It's sickening. And they show up like crazy for those games. And for it to be a play-in game, they're going to outbid the Minnesota fans 100%.
Well, I like that thought. However, the other point of that thought is there's so many more Laker fans in Los Angeles than there are Timberwolves. I mean, what are you talking about?
Because you're expecting that going into the crypt or whatever they call it. But if you're going to Target Center, you're hypothetically thinking, oh yeah, I've got the home crowd behind me. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. All I really care about tomorrow, to be honest, I don't care if it's the 7. I don't care if it's the 8. I just want to win. If we have a 7 or 8 spot, I feel so much more confident going into the playoffs. I think we were talking about this earlier, maybe before we started recording. But it seems destined for us to probably play and match up with Denver in the playoffs. It seems like we'll probably either lose tomorrow, be the 9 seed, and have to win our way out, which I don't think we will win our way out if that happens, by the way. Or we will be a 7 or 8 seed, lose, play the 9 or 10 seed, whoever wins, and then win against them, go up against Denver. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Denver. I'm almost more okay with Denver than I am with Memphis. I think Memphis has a little bit more ability to really hurt us in a 7-game series, but either one I feel pretty good about.
Yeah, interesting. I like your somewhat tepid optimism. I think playing against the Lakers, I just have too many, too many like variables, and the variables mean like money lines and people betting and like Adam Silver and refs and LeBronisms. I just think that it's going to be hard to tackle all of those things and not play straight up basketball.
Yeah.
Just because. But I do think, like the Clippers game last year, the play-in game, we looked our best selves when it was time to operate. Because we could have lost that game and then played whatever we were going to play against OKC, or I think it was it doesn't matter who the AC was. I think it was Pelicans. Yeah, it was OKC and Pelicans, I think, last year. I think so. Anyways, or maybe it was Portland. I don't remember.
I can't remember.
And it doesn't matter. But losing to win somehow has a better ring to it than
Yep.
losing and out.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to be a 9 seed. It would be fun to host at home and
Mhm.
host. It would be, I think it'd be the OKC Thunder. And, maybe we would win that game, but we shouldn't come into that game with the confidence that we've had and like against like
Yeah.
the
No.
Blazers and stuff.
Yep.
Because, Dort could lock up Ant and, Shea
Mhm.
could completely demolish Jaden. We don't 100% know that,
Yep.
and their bigs, kind of like relegates Gobert to the bench,
Yep.
the matchup isn't clear.
I don't like
Um,
that matchup.
I would like for us to be tested. I think the Lakers game is going to be interesting because lose, you're not out. So
Exactly. Exactly.
and if you win, I think I want the Memphis Grizzlies matchup more than I want the Denver lineup,
Hmm.
the Denver matchup. But as you said, and as you concluded, I feel like it is somewhat destined to be a Denver Minnesota first round matchup.
Yeah.
And I like our chances at home, but it's a 7-game series. And I think we might fall out in 7 to Denver.
Yeah.
But in Memphis, like real quick, I just think we can win in 5.
We could.
That's how
I mean,
confident I feel in that matchup.
we basically did last year, except we lost in 6. But like we really did. I mean, we won every one of those games, and then we just let it go by giving up 20-point leads. So yeah, I think. So when I say that I feel better about Denver, I don't think that's not me necessarily saying, "Oh, I think we're gonna win."
No,
uh,
I know, I understand.
yeah. It's more just that, like, I don't know, Denver. I just have yet to see Denver really prove anything in the playoffs, and I'm not saying the Timberwolves have proven anything in the playoffs,
Oh, you're right.
but like they haven't been put to the test enough to be like deep playoff. I mean, they haven't gone to the finals. They haven't done any of these things. And for a 1 seed, you would more expect, like, honestly, the teams I'm way more scared of going into the playoffs would be the Suns,
The
the
Suns, Warriors.
like, Suns, Warriors, even Sacramento, even though they haven't been tested, they look really good. And they've played well against us in the past. So, like, those kind of teams are the ones that or even the Lakers. I'm more scared about the Lakers than I am.
Yeah.
So
Those are the 3 teams that I'm the scariest, scared for. Yeah, the most.
Yeah. Yep. So it's interesting, but the one reason that I would fight your hardest and hope your hardest for being against Memphis, excuse me, I have to cough, is
Is
is suspense, drum roll, because you don't want to be locked. I said this in a previous show. You don't want to be in the 1-8-4-5 section of the bracket, because that 1-8-4-5 has, although it is Denver, who is maybe not the toughest one in the West, the 4-5 matchup is, well, what is it right now? It's the Suns and Warriors?
Suns and Clippers, but it's going to be the Suns.
Okay, yeah, it's the Suns regardless. So I don't want to go through Denver and then the Suns, assuming
Totally.
we can squeak out a win against Denver, who I think it would be a 7-game series regardless of who wins. So then you look at the other one. I mean, everyone's bad, but I don't know. I guess I think you want to win. You have to win tomorrow. You just have to.
And it's cool to have that kind of like, I bet you they're talking about it a little bit. Like, these are like the coaching staff is like, this is the setup for our team. It's a must win, game 82 all over again. And you want to go into the postseason with the best vibes. You want to go into the postseason with, like, we can trust each other. There's no finger pointing. There's no, like, I know the words to need to say to my team, There's nothing like that. It's just positivity. Because I think this team breeds off of that more than anything, more than discipline, more than, like, any other type of emotion.
Just quickly, I also think this team, Minnesota in general, just thrives off of high pressure games. So that's why I just feel so much better about this team playing game 82s, playing games, playoff games, because they matter, they care, and there's fans that show up at Target Center for them. Like for the regular season games, as somebody that's been a season ticket holder and gone to many games over the last decade, people just don't show up and cheer as loud for the regular season games, which makes sense. But you hear that in other arenas. Like you saw the Kings going crazy this year.
Things are crazy. Yeah.
Like you've seen Boston have some crazy stuff. You've seen like
Knicks are going wild this year too.
yeah, like there's lots of that. That doesn't happen at Target Center. Like sure, it gets loud occasionally, but like it's just not the same. And I know the players feel that, and I'm sure that I went to the play-in game last year. That was a different environment than anyone on our team has ever experienced, and we won. So like we
Yeah.
had that crowd behind us. We even were down in that game. I forget. I rewatched it a couple months ago, and we were down several times in that game. Like we started hot, but then we went down by like 10 plus points.
We were 10 points. Yep, down by 10. Yep.
And like we came back in the fourth quarter to win, and not just win, but like win like strongly. It's pretty interesting. So I'm excited for meaningful games at Target Center. I think tomorrow will be one, which is why I almost have zero doubt in my mind that the Timberwolves are going to lose tomorrow, which is a crazy thing to say.
Yeah,
but like, I don't know. I guess I'm more so am just confident that they will show up tomorrow. That doesn't guarantee a win, but I think we aren't going to get the Portland game Timberwolves that we had. We're going to have people show up and be in high effort mode.
Yeah. I don't know what it does for the standings, but let's just pretend that we lose and Lakers lose too, and like everyone loses. I don't know who else needs to play and matter, but like everyone loses. Like, maybe the Pelicans go into the 3-6 matchup, and maybe like the Warriors are down in the 7-8. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't 100% know the matchups and like the like how Pelicans did on tiebreakers, but they would all have the same record, So matters for them too, I think, and potentially equally. And so they're not going to like just like slouch. And we haven't really even been talking about the Pelicans at all. But they have matchups that we can exploit. But they have a very, like I would say, similar team, but their pace is about the same. Coming into this game, we should feel confident, but not overconfident and cocky and like, it's not years. So,
the Pelicans have so much to play for. I just did it in the playoff predictor website. Hypothetically, like you said, if the Lakers lose, if we lose to the Pelicans, if the Clippers lose to Phoenix, if Golden State loses to Portland, all of these things are pretty unlikely, especially all of them happening at the same time. But if all of those happen at the same time, the New Orleans Pelicans would be the 5 seed.
Oh my God.
Above the Golden State Warriors, the Clippers, the Lakers, obviously us. So they have
and then the Warriors would fall in the 7-8?
The Warriors would fall into the 6th seed, and then the Clippers and Lakers would play each other in the first round of the play-in.
Well, I wonder if that's what the NBA wants. I'm just kidding.
I think what the NBA wants, and I think I was thinking about this the other day. I think what they probably want to happen is they want Denver, Minnesota. I think that makes sense. They want Memphis and the Lakers. I think that would be a good matchup. It's too bad they don't have Pat Bev still, because that would make it even more of a want for them.
Well, they want Kings and Warriors because that's kind of like an obvious.
Kings and Warriors because they can just take a bus back and forth together, and it's a California matchup. And then 4-5 Phoenix Clippers. Just they're pretty close as well.
Russ and KD.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's what they want. So
a lot of storylines.
That's the script. We'll see how well it works tomorrow, but I think that's kind of what we're looking at, probably going at. But not playoffs, but still playoff vibes tomorrow. Low bar, but having a single game that matters is worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, true. This is going to be a fun game. Well, I guess before we go, because I'm about to get into a coughing fit again, what is your I've spread it to you. What is your prediction going into tomorrow? If you had to choose, do the Timberwolves win? Do they lose? Do they win by a lot? Lose by a lot? Lose by a little? Win by a little? Tie?
Yeah, I'll take my time so you can get it all out. I think this is the first blowout win this season.
Mm-hmm.
We have won maybe 10, 18 plus like 10 plus games, but 10 plus games aren't necessarily an evaluation of a blowout game, because they looked at it at one point like a couple days ago and they were all like 10 or 11 points. So there was like just a couple threes and it would be like a close game. We've also had maybe the most 5 points or less results
Mhm.
in the league. And so very similar to the the Rubio Kevin Love season where we were like 20 and like we were like 20 and like 40 in games that mattered 5 or less. Like
Mhm.
we've had a pretty like 500 record in that 5 points or less kind of result. Meaning, I think it will be no chance that this will be a blowout in either direction. And I think this will be like a final 2 minutes decides the game kind of game. I
Okay.
definitely feel. And I definitely think Godfrey is on one for that. But that's classic Godfrey. But you know,
Hey, betting
I
against the Timberwolves is never
it
that crazy of an idea,
yeah, but actually gets you a mansion if you bet against them against the Trailblazers. So
which I should have done.
yeah,
But
my opinion is that we win, and I think we win by like five or six. Like it'll be the closing possessions. Like, and we need that
mhm,
kind of win. We need
we do.
like a bit of adversity and to come out of it triumphant and lead us into the play-in like very, very confident.
Yeah. I think to answer my own question, I think I'm in line with you, but there's a small portion of me that is kind of leaning towards thinking that maybe this isn't, I don't want to say blowout, but like one of those games where we maybe go up by like 20 points at some point because we just did take it so seriously in the first half. And then we do our typical Memphis in the playoffs thing where we come out of the halftime and we give up 10. And then it's like, oh, well, now it's just a 10-point game and it's just a couple possessions. Um, so that could be an outcome.
A lot of
But
factors. It's at home, back to back. There's a
mhm,
flight that we have to do right now, and Pelicans have probably been in Minnesota since yesterday. So just things
probably.
like that.
Yeah. I do think, though, to kind of close things out here, I do think that the Timberwolves are going to take this game very seriously. And that's good for certain players and that's bad for other players. When Ant takes the game seriously, you get results like you did tonight. When Cat takes the game seriously, he fouls out in 2 minutes. So, there's lots of different ways that you can look at this. But we also haven't seen much of Cat this year, so maybe he's changed 8 years in. But yeah, it's all up to Cat. How far are they going in the playoffs? You're 100% right, Godfrey.
100% right.
Uh, it's like you've watched our show for 2 years. Um, but yeah, cool. Well, that's it. If you're new here, join the Discord, subscribe. Um, and I think that's pretty much it. We will be back tomorrow at about the same time, and we will have a lot of new information to discuss since we will know exactly what's happening in the next week for play-in and everything else. But yeah, we will see. And next time we see you all, we'll see if we're smiling.
The Chuck 23. That's 100% what we want to happen. Like if their mentality is what you just said, and Cat is a
Yep.
contributor, not like the dominator, we'll have a great shot.
But that's what we have yet to see with Cat. So maybe it'll happen tomorrow. Anyways, it was great to see you all. Thanks for
Yep.
joining us on a Saturday afternoon. Or I guess it's not afternoon in Minnesota. But either
Early
way,
evening.
it was an early game. So you can go enjoy the rest of your night. Make sure you're up early for that Wolves game. Well, for us, we're West Coast, but be ready for that game. So that's it from us. Any final words from you, Ashwin?
42 wins is still in play.
42 wins is still in play. Whoa, this is a big game tomorrow.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. 42 wins is still in play. God, that's so sad.
Yeah, that's very sad.
uh, if we also on a positive note, the Timberwolves win tonight guarantees them a 500 season, even if we lose tomorrow. So we will not be below 500. This is the first two
Historic.
seasons of. Yes, this is a good start in the macro, maybe not in the micro. Anyways, I don't know why I said that. Intro as the outro. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon. See ya.